All right, everybody, Reginald here. Do you ever have one of those games that's just honestly so bad? The whole time you're playing it, people are just mouthing off. People are playing like garbage. You're probably playing like garbage, but you can't even tell what you should be doing better because it's such a mess and nobody is doing anything right. And yet somehow, despite all of that, you guys win? Well, this is one of those games. And I have to tell you, I actually recorded this once already, and it was such a piece of garbage game, as you can tell by the scoreboard, that I tilted while watching it. So we're going to try again. This is a game demonstrating how a losing game can be won despite significant odds by properly playing the objective, which is what I did. Let's start here. So notice at the beginning of this game, I notice we have several DPS. We have a Spider-Man, and we have a Venom, and we have an Iron Man. So I say, you know what? That's actually a really good combo. I'm just going to let that ride. I will play the other tank. I'm going to hop on Thing, which will give us a nice frontline presence, and I will coordinate diving with that Venom to achieve nasty frontline plays. And this should work out, hopefully, depending on what the enemy team is running. If not, I can always switch it up. I will let our Lord Iron Man do his thing, was my thought. Now, let's check the bans real quick. Okay, so we've got an Iron Fist, Spider-Man, Human Torch, Groot. And unlucky for us, our Spider-Man got banned, so we are not going to be running that. But whatever they're going to pick for DPS, I'm sure they want to play some other DPS. We'll just let them run with whatever they're going to play. No problem. All right, we can now select our heroes. I was, getting ready to go, and for some reason, Iron Man has taken my Thing. All right, sure, whatever. Thing is, if you want to play Thing, I'll let you play Thing. I will just play Mr. Fantastic. Just what I said I was going to play at the beginning with the hover. That's fine. Thing and Fantastic actually have really great fundamental synergy, if you didn't know. So we should be able to do a lot of frontlining together, and it should be a fun game. And then we'll have whatever we have for a second tank and whatever we have for a second DPS. This should be a fine composition. No complaints out of me. Let's skip ahead a little bit for the game to kick off. All right, so we're running Emma Thing with a Hanzo on our team, and I'll be on Fantastic. And this is actually a reasonable composition. You can see me here. I'm applying shields early on to the Cloak and Dagger because this is a prime spot. And I'm going to look around here and show you what I mean. This is a prime spot for Cloak and Dagger to get sniped by a diver like a Black Panther. So I'm just going to prevent that prematurely here on instinct so that I don't have to spend my entire start of the fight worrying about her. I also want to have my elasticity up. And my objective here is to play up a little bit, and oh, Thing got picked right away. Now here's why Thing got picked. Let's just look at that. Thing, already wounded, decides to walk directly in the open into an enemy Hanzo, into the entire enemy team. He has no cover to play around. He's just standing in the open. He's not able to get healed at this time. I even try to save him. You can watch me do it, but he gets popped by the enemy's Hanzo. So we're kind of SOL there. Now, why am I positioned like I am with us just losing a pick? Well, I'm trying to make sure that the team doesn't lose space to pushing. We've got a Hanzo as our other DPS, so he's just going to poke. If we get a lucky pick here, we could potentially continue the fight because I can fill that tank role, right? I'm frontlining around this corner. I'm playing this corner. I'll be very safe. I can now use my shielding to push up. Oh, I want to back up. I'm going to provide a little shielding to our Hanzo, but it's unfortunately not enough. He gets headshot and killed by the other Hanzo. So now we're down 2. We need to back out. You can see me trying to back out. I noticed that, unfortunately, also, we've gotten a pick on our Cloak and Dagger here. I see that in-game, and I'm just trying to get out now. Trying to leave, give Emma some shields so that she has some safety from long-range shots while she's getting healed. We are walking back in. The reason we are walking back in right here is because this Thing wanted to walk back in. I'm walking back in with the Thing. Thing eats it and dies. Now, I'm thinking I'm just going to die. Right? Like, at this point, walking all the way back is a bad idea for me. It's going to take me more time. So I'm just going to try and play into the enemy, build ult, and die. Whatever has to happen, has to happen. I knock him out of the air. You can do that. You can actually, by the way, do that for if Hela ults and Strange flies up there, not that he's that common anymore, you can actually knock that away, and then he loses that cooldown. So you can make it possible for Hela to clear. Unfortunately, I see that we are down on the backline. I hear their Black Panther, and I hear that we got another lost hero. And Cloak and Dagger has died to Black Panther again. You can see I'm looking for him, right? I'm like, okay, we got a problem. We can't play like this anymore. I can't frontline. Their Black Panther is having too much success. We aren't getting heal peels sufficient to keep her alive. So I got to do something. And even there, the Black Panther gets the pick on our Hanzo at the exact moment. And there we go. And there is absolutely no reason this should have happened. This is, what, his second death now? Third death. He's managed to die 3 times here. He just rushes in. We're down a bunch of heroes. And he lets himself get blown apart. I think... Hang on. Yep. So I was trying to actually grab the thing and I reacted too slowly, but I'm only human. So I yoink into the enemy team. I'm just going to stop and I'm going to let myself be taken out because we're totally separated. They got the rocket pick. There's absolutely no reason for me to try and preserve myself, even though I had shift. So that's why that happens. All right, let's fast forward. Now look at them go. They are up out in front. They really need to be playing a poke game. The thing should be playing more carefully. I am building charge. Our Cloak and Dagger is typing angrily that there's a Black Panther diving them and that we need to peel. So that's what's going on here. And I'm like, okay, cool, I will peel. Look at my positioning. I am at the back of the line. This is the worst position for Mr. Fantastic to play in. Let me be really, really clear about that. And I want to explain why. There's always these people who come by my comments lately telling me, hey, actually, Mr. Fantastic is great at peeling. Mr. Fantastic is not great at peeling. Mr. Fantastic is better at peeling than most other DPS. The only other really good options are like Bucky and Namor. Namor for his turrets, automatic capacity to nail and drive away those healers or those divers, and Bucky can also provide shielding, and so can Mr. Fantastic. But it is not a very successful role, and the reason for that is very simple. Mr. Fantastic only does 65 damage per hit, 30 on his little funny body check, so it's not very much damage, which means he might wound the enemy diver, but he is unlikely to kill the diver if the diver uses his abilities properly to escape after securing a pick. Mr. Fantastic can prevent one-shot combos, but he cannot actually really typically secure kills unless he's able to find an off-angle to play on. This map is very hard for him to do that. I could wrap around this way and maybe find him, but if I want to play with my team, which I do here, and make sure that he's not like up here or something, which sometimes Black Panther is up here, sometimes Black Panther is up here around this corner, he could be in a lot of these different positions, then I need to be kind of cautious. So I don't know where the enemy's going to come from. I haven't got a good read on his behaviors yet, and I'm just playing to provide safety. I see him, he runs away, he knows that he's been seen, and I'm just going to continue to play at this position. Why am I playing here? Well, for starters, there's not a lot I can do in this front line while also protecting the back line, and I'm securing this off angle from additional aggression. This is space taking as Mr. Fantastic. I'm a duelist, and duelists can secure off angles, right? That's space that I prevent. All right, I'm providing that shield. We have this really weird amplifier. I would just like to call it how like bizarre this amp. Why can't I move this? This amplifier is just so bizarre. What are we doing here? When did we use this? Is there a good reason for this? Like, okay. What? Okay, I knew I wasn't crazy when I looked at this amplifier and just said, what? Look, this amplifier offers nothing to the team. We weren't all low. There wasn't a lot of damage to us. It doesn't stretch around this corner, so the second we advance to the position where you normally fight up main, we lose it. If we fight through this door, we also lose it. And the enemy team could literally just, like, if the enemy team was smart, they would just walk away. They would just go over here and just, like, right here, and just wait for us to come back out of it. What are we going to do? Right? But even still, they don't even need to because they have a Crimson Witch team up, and they're just going to burn this thing to pieces. Look at it. If they had the capacity to, they could have just destroyed this and run us over. But they don't need to, because again, they can back up right here. Doesn't matter. What are we gonna do? Now I'm pressuring here because I'm Mr. Fantastic. Hold on, let me go back to myself. But I can't see, so I need to back into the ult. I'm trying to take advantage of what little line of sight there is to this as possible. Our thing is in so deep here. I'm gonna just try to play off that though. So I'm going to go in. This was a mistake on my part. Here is a mistake. Do you notice how I didn't get the Hanzo right there? I could have, and I didn't see him. I saw the Scarlet Witch. It just brain problems, right? And now Hanzo's going to get away with it, and I'm going to die. I could have had him. So that was a failure on my part. I just honestly didn't see it. That kind of thing happens when you're trying really hard to make something work. And unfortunately, everybody's going to get chased down and is going to get destroyed here. Emma doesn't manage to get the grab on their Black Panther at any point, which, I mean, that's hard. I get it, but there you go. Now we're going to lose out on this, so that's over. All right, so thing goes in. Clobbers solo with no support. Dies at this point. Everybody's already tilting. He has 6 deaths on tank to everyone else's 2 to 3. Even the dived healer is like, bro, you're feeding. It felt like it was working. I mean, it wasn't like perfect, but it felt like we were winning, right? There was a brief moment where I had the world looking at me and we had a heal pick and we were in a good position. So why did we lose? What happened here? Our thing is just way too deep. I do get the Rocket Raccoon. I really just so sad that I missed this play. He dives way too deep. That's too much. And the rest of our team, what is the rest of our team doing here? They are chasing Black Panther in the back line. Where did we lose our rocket to? Hold on, I'd like to find out. Yep. Our Rocket Raccoon is going to die to the Black Panther. Unfortunately, our Emma did not react and did not push up with our thing. So we've got, you know, we're playing scattered. We're playing in the worst way against a diver where we're not committing to an attack and we're also not committing to a defense. We won't pick one or the other. No one's coordinating on comms except this guy's shouting about how much better he is than everyone else. So we're going to lose this, even though we did get a healer pick. And there it goes. No one's together. It's complete. Yep. I thought we had forward momentum. Even though Thing was out of position on this point, I thought we were going to die. We were going to push for it. And then their Black Panther just killed our Rocket Raccoon and nobody reacted in time. That's rough. That's how that is, but that's rough. Cloak and Dagger is throwing heals at the wall. What is Cloak and Dagger doing? I'm kind of losing my mind here. Hang on. I would just like to see what's going on here. What is this? All right, this is fine. We're
feeling good.
What am I looking at?
So cold.
Lights out. Take my dimension.
Am I looking at? What am I looking at? Oh, this is controller gaming. How did I end up with a controller? Does this person play on controller on on PC? They're not even, but I mean, they're just aiming at the walls. Oh, what an uphill battle this was.
My time to shine.
I suppose that helps.
I'm re-tilting because the whole time I can listen to Iron Man here scream into his microphone about how we're all terrible, and I get to listen to this person talk about how we're all terrible and not peeling enough. This explains why they wouldn't get off Cloak and Dagger even though they were dive food. Listen, it's not everyone's job to full protect you from dive. You're gonna have to do some of the work. Pick a hero that can handle it. If we just all spend our time dealing with one enemy hero, all 6 of us, and we don't get to secure that pick, and he gets to regularly choose the rules of his engagement, the enemy team will always win. We have to make aggressive plays, and you have to be able to do other things. It's just the way this works.
Lights out. Literally. Us against the world.
This is good. This is good positioning by the Cloak and Dagger. Credit where it's due. We're out of the way from the danger of that ult there. One of the big issues with dealing with with what's going on in this game is just that the whole team is completely uncoordinated. Basic things are not being done. Like, this is like a prime target for an attack, and yet we're not. We let her get that ult off. Now, fortunately, nobody let her die to that ult, and I knocked her out of the air, by the way. I didn't know I could do that. That was pretty cool. She gets knocked down. I get to go big mode, and then the enemy double support ults, which is actually hugely in our favor. This is a mistake. I know why I did it. I know what I was thinking. I will show you, but I was wrong. So we can just accept that I made a mistake here. I go big, and look at how my shields are vanishing, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I gotta stay alive so that we can win this fight. So my entire thought was, I'm going to ult this. That was dumb, though, because we have a cloak ult on the field, so however much shielding I have doesn't matter. I should have just played in small mode and just gone for it. I probably would not have died. I did, however, see this guy, and I thought maybe I could get him while he's outside or drive him around, but now what's going to happen is the cloak ult is going to go away, and I am going to get destroyed because I do not have my ultimate to sustain when all the ultimates are gone. So this is actually me misplaying quite badly, actually, because if I had waited a little longer, instead of thinking about my health bar and running it on autopilot, I could have ulted towards the end of the cloak ult on my team, gotten a big burst of healing, drained down some of his ultimate, and maybe bounced on his head to kill him or her head to kill her or something. Unfortunately, due to that misplay, we're not going to have any opportunity to secure this point at this time. I don't know if what Black Panther is planning here. Maybe he's just being mean, but he does get the pick. Good for him. This Black Panther secretly did a lot this game, and it may not show up on the scoreboard until later, but he did it quite a bit. So I just like to call that out now. Okay, so we have 9 seconds to get back. I think the DPS actually are just trying to be present so that they can contest. But we are actually able to get back in time. So would you look at that? Now I do get ulted. That's a shame for me, but it's not going to matter. Their ult on the table. And you can do damage through strange shields with those boops. I missed the boop here. I don't know what was going on with my aiming. I always flail my camera around on these. So I think it has to be a replay bug. Like, it must not have registered and the replay just didn't think I did it. But I always flail my camera like crazy on those. So I don't know. I'm going to get the pick, survive with 20 HP, get healed up, and then retaliate for another pick. And we're going to go after this Black Panther. I see that I'm not successfully hitting him very much. Like, I'm missing most of my shots, and so I cancel big mode here. Because I want the ease to protect my cloak. Cloak survives. There we go. They teleport on because they have strange, of course. And I'm just going after this Rocket Raccoon, who I can no longer get to, but he's busy for a second. So we're going to try and get rid of the enemy here. And I hear this Black Panther whipping around, and I slap him for one, and we clear that out. The real difficult thing here is I'm realizing our team has no coordination. We are not going to have reliable healing the entire game. And we are now on payload push. So I'm feeling like we're going to lose this one. But in my mind's eye, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I know I don't have a ton of final hits here. I know, but I also know that I can't rely on my team for good healing. So the hero I want to play into the enemy composition is the Thing. Because we have an Emma, and the Thing is a really good peel tank. However, I don't think into the enemy composition of a Crimson Witch, Black Panther, and a Hanzo, that I'm going to be able to sustain as the Thing. I think I'm going to get blown apart really bad because my healers keep dying and are having a really hard time using their abilities properly. At some point in this game, I watched Loki fail to use Lamp more than once, even though he got dove. Like, I'm not trying to insult people, but it's just saying, like, we have a ton of mistakes going on across the entire team. So I'm thinking to myself, I need a hero who can self-sustain, is self-sufficient, and can just do what he can to win the fight at the point level to help bridge the gaps in the team's failures, right? I need to be more flexible than just playing another tank. Our problem is not that we need a bigger health pool that's reliable for the healers to build heal ults. Our problem is not even that we need anti-peel, because I'm not confident at all that our team can, like, the Thing's peels are the same as Mr. Fantastic's peels. They're predicated on the rest of the team bothering to look at the thing that you slam, right? So if you slam a Black Panther and no one else looks at it, Black Panther leaves, because Black Panther can sustain long enough that a couple of punches from the Things won't kill him. He will get out. So we have the same problem. And so Mr. Fantastic is the choice for me here, because I don't know how else I'm supposed to stay alive to do anything. But I am also now on a tank roll because we have 2 other DPS. And I need to sort of take space. So you can see I'm out in front. I am playing off on a corner, but I'm out in front. I'm using my shift to force the enemy back. Do you notice how they walk back? I want to show you that again.
Feeling fantastic.
I am here, and look at this. I am walking forwards, and the enemy is walking backwards. I'm not really much of a threat. I'm actually just a funny Pop-Tart guy, but they are walking away from me, and I have taken space, and this entire time, the payload has moved. Loki burns Lamp to deal with this Black Panther. That's good. That means we can sustain a little longer. We get a maximum pulse out. Hits the shield. I provide Emma with some additional sustain so that she can stay in the fight a little longer. I almost die. Waiting on those heals, but I pop my big form so I can keep fighting. See what I'm talking about? Did you see what I was talking about in terms of my health bar? I cannot rely on this healing. There's no guarantee I'm going to get it. So being able to pop my own giant 400 health pool is how I'm going to sustain this game. Black Panther gets called by one of the only people who was on comms in this game that wasn't screaming into their microphone about how they were much better than everyone, and they only had 8 deaths before everybody else's 3 because they weren't used to playing tank. And both our healers were not on comms, so I got a call. I turned around. I'm going to look at this Black Panther. I'm going to now harass this Black Panther on the back line, just drive him out of position. That's all I'm doing. I know I can't chase him because I can't see him, but I want him to know I know he's there. That's all I'm doing. I'm hoping maybe I can get a grab, but I'm just letting him know I'm there. I know you're there, buddy. I'm looking at you. And this whole duration while I'm doing that, we are able to push this payload. It's only about the payload right now. It's about moving it as fast as we can move it. You can see me preemptively providing a little shielding, keeping my elasticity high. I want you to pay attention to this. Look at how I pop and then immediately turned around and punched. Why did I do that? The enemy team came in. Their tank came in. The immediate assumption of me as playing anti-dive in this situation is they're going to now dive while I'm looking away, while I'm aggressing. Would you look at that? Did I call it? Now, I'm having trouble hitting him because this is the problem with Big Fantastic. He has a 9-meter range or an 8-meter range. You can't hit him.
A shield. How quaint.
Born again. Fantastic.
Okay, so we get the ult here, and we're going to use my ult, and we're going to work with Black Panther to secure those kills. So we get a 3-pick off of the Adam ult. We get Hanzo's ult, Retaliation. I'm just standing there to try and absorb some of the shooting. I'm going to give Loki some shielding. I'm going to give Cloak some shielding. She's standing in a weird spot in the open with limited cover to move around. I don't want her to die. Okay, so now I'm moving up to the payload to secure space for the payload, and I'm just frontlining. I'm playing like a tank right now. I'm big. Thor comes in. I want to fight. I want to push Thor off. I want to try and get their tanks to fly away. Get the pull. Trying to displace them to get some movement on the payload. That's what those E's are for. It gives me an inch. I'll take an inch. I look for the Black Panther wherever he is. I can't find him most of the time. Here, I'd like to just call that out. That was me being distracted. I should have been hitting W key there instead. So that was a small mistake. But you can see I recover. We get a pick on Thor. Our Iron Man unfortunately wasted his ult earlier, got picked off by Hanzo, but that kind of stuff happens. You can't do it perfectly every time. Why am I over here? There's 3 people. I want to keep them over here where they aren't by the payload. I want to block. I wanted to body block their healers. Okay, so we played the objective. We were able to drive forwards. I played as a tank there. It was not about me getting a lot of kills in this fight. It was about me making space as Fantastic while having unreliable healing. And this is how we drove that payload in. Now let's look at the defense side, because I'm not sure what to play here just the same. Okay, so we're on point. I haven't swapped to another tank, even though we could honestly probably use one, and it did cross my mind. But I don't know what to do because, again, and this is always hard. I was ace until like the last second of that fight. Now it's Hiskari again. That's okay. The reason I was, by the way, with my final picks being what they are, is because I had the least deaths. That just sometimes makes you MVP. But hey, look, our team played that very well at the end. I'd like to put that on the table. Okay, so this is such a slog of a game, honestly. Like, what a disaster. So when you don't know what to play, it's tough, because I don't want to play Mr. Fantastic just because Mr. Fantastic is the character I like. I want to play Mr. Fantastic here because specifically, I wanted to play a tank in this game, remember? But I don't think a tank is a good idea because my healing is so unreliable. My team is so uncoordinated. I've had to mute several people. Like, I can't talk to these people, right? So I am self-sufficient as Mr. Fantastic in a way that I'm not on a tank, right? Now, maybe I could make it work. I don't know. But in this case, I can cover some of the gaps a little better, and I feel it's worth it. All I'm doing here is I'm trying to look for a flanker. We're going to provide some shielding to Cloak and Dagger here until she gets healed. And then we're going to play up with our tanks as a tank. I hear the Wolverine. I see the Wolverine go. There's nothing much I can do until I get an E back. I come in. I provide that E. I get a lucky pick. Remember, Mr. Fantastic's an assist hero. He gets picks. When his team is attacking something, he attacks it too, and vice versa. Get that pick on their healer. That evens things out because, look, we've lost our Loki, probably to a Black Panther in the back line while I was trying to help on the front line. But again, we have a Loki. He has Lamp. There's only so much I can do in the back line. We have to have our healers heal each other as well to get through some of those bursts. I can't constantly backline because I also have to frontline tank right now, which is what I'm doing. I'm exchanging Emma on the front line because I have shielding, and now I'm canceling that. I'm going to provide some sustain to my Black Panther. I'm going to do a little pull to get them all separated. And then I'm wondering, okay, we've still not gotten healing for a long time. Somebody has to be dead. What's happened? Where's my cloak and dagger? There's a Black Panther back there. I think to myself, maybe I can pursue that, kill that. Maybe my team can sustain on the front line. This is wrong. I probably should have gone back to my team and just provided them with as much shielding as I could. Probably wouldn't have mattered though, because again, we're in a situation where, unfortunately, we have no healing. So I explode. Nothing much I can do there. And now they're just all over our point. And that's that. Now I think Leo here goes Thing because unfortunately he doesn't want to play into the Wolverine and get picked again. Yes, if you're ready for it, you can shift on Emma and not have to worry about it, but that means you have to preserve that utility the whole time. I'm going to use my E on the Iron Man to help him sustain in these unreliable healing times. We're going to get the kill on the Wolverine. Very nice situation. Satisfied with that.
Sorry, no revival here. Oh, I'm fine. Don't mind me.
Now this was really a shame. Did you see how fast he died? I wanted to hit the E on my Loki, but I could not. So he got obliterated before I could do really much. Right? Loki might have been able to lamp there, but there wasn't anything he could really do. I'm looking for an opportunity to just continue to harass. I don't know why I couldn't get that grab. I tried. And I just try to eat as much of that damage as I can. And then I go for the heal, but there isn't any healing. So I'm going to just assist the Iron Man. I figured I could E against him a couple times. And you can see I'm sustaining him now. I provided 150 health for him to sustain off of so that he can play the game. Finally, our healers have returned from the spawn. And I'm going to get the punch, cancel into shift. Get my 100. Finally, after the full 3-second delay on Pop-Tart, get my healing back. I don't know what the delay is. Do they have a Black Panther over there that they're dealing with? Like what? I got shot a couple times and then like I didn't see it again for like an age. Yeah, okay. So they were shooting at the Hanzo to drive him away, I guess. But let's go back to my view here. This is exactly what I'm talking about, though. It's like, okay, I'm sitting here, full 3-second Pop-Tart, finally get healed a little bit, pop my 400 HP, and I survive by a sliver. Our Iron Man gets picked off. I'm going to try and contest this high ground. Same thought as Black Panther, and we get an easy pick with my pull and his damage dash. And we're going to take out that, and I'm going to shift cancel again to survive. I probably didn't have to do that one because we did have an ult on the field, but you can't always tell. I punch him as well on his way out. It almost looked like I missed him, but so I'm assuming this has to do with latency to some degree. Now here, my thinking is this. We've been having so much trouble with this diver. I can't seem to catch him when I need to catch him during the dive. So instead, I'm going to try and contest him on his backline angles. I'm going to find him, and I'm going to contest him. I found him. Can I contest him? No. I come to this point often. Mr. Fantastic's weakest role is anti-dive. He's better at it than most other heroes. But most dive heroes have mobility required to get away from Mr. Fantastic in many situations. So the best you can do is scare him off, drive him off, or scare him away, especially as people get more competent. This ult is questionable, but I'm trying to sustain here. I was hoping to get a pick since they were just standing there letting me bounce on them. Here we get a cloak ult, allowing me to sustain. And hey, we got the pick, but they got the revive. And I'm just going to continue to do my best to sustain on this point. I am contesting this point. Look at how long I have contested this point. It's barely moving. We've been holding this whole time. That is not my bubble. I know it's blue, but that's it should be red if it's mine, so I can't heal any further. And then Piscari, our Black Panther, also attempts to sustain that point a little bit. Now here's the one problem we run into. From now on, our team does not make an effort to group up. So despite all of that delay, many seconds of delay, our team is just going to stand right there. And I'm going to die here, I think, because what can I do? Yep. I think Cloak and Dagger was getting dove by Black Panther again, and here we are. And we're all split up in different angles. You know, we just don't have any sustain. We don't have any grouping going on. We're all just feeding. And I'm saying so over comms, but again, this was not a good situation for comms. I need to do this because Mr. Hanzo Man is firing at everyone and gets a triple because we don't have a support ultimate to deal with it. Hits me too, because of course he gets to do that, and here we are. So we're just permanently off tempo. Like, go into support. He misses me. He can't pick up thing.
This is real firepower.
He was out of my range at that point. I'm gonna walk into him. Oh, I can't believe I missed that punch. This is a great play on the Wolverine part. Gets the cloak from the back line, just picks her up and leaves where I can't get him because I'm in big mode and I've lost too much. I'm going to move to the back line. Why am I here? I am once again just trying to stall. I'm trying to zone out that Hanzo. I'm going to ultimate here. I get a free ult out of the cloak. She did not need to do that. I was about to die. But that's actually huge for us, as a matter of fact. That cloak ult is now gone from the Iron Man ult, although I don't think that was really necessary. I just heard our cloak ult and lose it to a Hanzo headshot arrow. Let's go see what's up. So we get a clobber. We get the Hanzo pick, which is good because he's our most dangerous DPS. And we're playing point, right? I got back, I got in because I had someone to grab to, and I'm just on this payload.
Got you. The only way we win this is together. The enemy approaches.
Again, I'm going to help this Iron Man sustain in case he's not getting healed. He and Cloak and Dagger were fighting all game, and as much as he honestly deserved not to be healed with the way he was talking, I don't play that game. I just try to win. This play, okay. So Cloak and Dagger is not looking up or is just being spiteful, so I have provided most of his health bar here. This is another reason why I wanted to stay Mr. Fantastic, because again, the entire team was just a disaster. So I'm trying to provide some grace, some overlay to solve some of these issues. So he's got enough that if somebody peeks around the corner, he's not going to instantly die. This positioning by this Cloak and Dagger, it's horrible. She was here. That was better. I am on the payload, and I will explain why in a second. But if Cloak and Dagger is here, the enemy has to go wrap around the corner to get her, but she can still heal the tank, and she can be seen by the tank and me to be protected in case there is a diver. Her problem has been divers all game. Well, where is she now? She is alone in a corner with no easy cover except the one door where the diver is going to come through. And the door, this is not just like a, oh, the diver might come from there thing. There are two other entrances to this room, that one and that one. If a diver is going to come from somewhere, it has to be one of these three doors. This door is the front door. The diver's not going through the front door. It's going to be this one or this one. Don't stand by that. Stand over here, stand over here, stand over here, stand over here, stand over here. Anything to be near one of us. Preferably in my line of sight. So the reason I am on this payload was in part because I wanted to protect her. I wanted to be able to protect him. I wanted to react to whatever situation needed reacting to. And I refused to get off this payload because it is almost there. And if nobody walks it back, it's going to move that much slower. It's going to even potentially be stationary, I believe is how that mechanic works. So I'm actually moving this payload back, and I'm ensuring that nobody sneaks behind and gets this payload in while we're not looking. So I'm going to refuse to leave this payload. We're just going to watch. And look at that, she's dead again, and nobody could have reacted. There was no way for me to do it except for to go to him and then go to her. If she had been here or here or here or here or here, I could have gotten her, but there was nothing I could do, right? So Leo understands we've lost our healer. And in fact, we don't have a single healer on the field right now, so we're just playing back onto this point, right? So from now on, everything in this fight decays because of her bad positioning, right? So every decision I'm going to make is going to have to be in the lens of, oops, we had bad positioning from one person. He didn't get healed when he could have been healed because probably they were fighting like cats and dogs. And whatever shielding I was able to provide him doesn't last forever, and he gets picked off again. Okay, so now it's the two of us. So there he goes. I'm thinking maybe I can get the diver. I find him, and then I duck behind here because, oh, we've got never miss on the table again. I provide shielding. Why am I positioning here? I have an explanation. It's not as crazy as it looks. I know my thing is going to take a lot of damage here. I know he's got ult on the field. I know that this is ult on the field, and my entire objective here is to body block for my thing so that my thing isn't the target. Because I can generate shielding and go into shift immediately after, and he can't. Of the two people on this team with sustain, I have the most right now because there's no healer present. I am a tank. I am the better tank if there is no healing. He's the better tank if there's healing. I'm going to cancel. I'm going to hit shift. See, I live. Which of the two of us is alive right now, even though I just face tanked 3 people? Not for long, of course. And that's not surprising. But this entire interchange between me and Thing, and just trying to stay alive for like a split second to hold that payload back, all completely comes down to Cloak and Dagger playing in the wrong position. That's what happened. Now, let's watch how this plays out. The point is moving. My goat, Piscari, comes through, stalls payload, understands the objective of the game. We get a pulse, gets a pick, does a lot of damage to the Thing, almost gets more than one pick, and we're going to finish off Hanzo. Great job, but he's going to die to a Wolverine ult. And I want to show you that too, because again, this Wolverine was playing really well. So watch this. All right, so Black Panther comes in. Cloak and Dagger is attempting to keep him alive. She's doing damage right now instead of healing. I guess he doesn't need it right now. Wolverine is ulted. He's in the air. He didn't pick anybody up. He just ulted. He's aiming his ult. He hits Black Panther as soon as he stops moving, drops him on the ground, beats him up, takes him out. Incredible play. And then, of course, we're going to get the Loki on the field. That was a good attempt by the Loki, by the way. Cloak and Dagger and Loki push onto the point with Thing. Everybody's here. The one issue is I think Loki could have played here still and would have been better off for doing so because now he's on point and he doesn't really need to be. Cloak and Dagger is healing Leo, who's doing good. She's making space, but their Cloak and Dagger has an ult now. I think that pretty much wraps it up because there's not much that can be done. I'm going to try and protect Cloak and Dagger real quick. I need to get to point. Yep, I'm going to provide her as much shielding as I can. I'm going to try and grab this Black Panther. I'm going to yoink him. It still didn't matter. It just wasn't enough. The enemy has an ult on the field. And as much as I'm trying to stall, I'm going to go into my shift when I'm low. I'm going to try and walk into the bubble. But again, we have a Cloak and Dagger ult on the field, and they're just doing as much damage as they can to me. We have Iron Man here. I am stalling. I've held for a very long time, I'd like to point out. Despite everything else, I held for a fairly long time. Iron Man could have maybe stalled this, but it probably wouldn't have mattered at this point. The respawn timer suggests that that was the last gasp. I'd like to call something out right here. 14 seconds to 59 seconds. 14 to 59. Even though we're getting rocked this game. Literally, their Hanzo has 34 finals. 45 elims. Their Black Panther has 21. Their other DPS has 13. Is matching me, right? So I'm like the weakest DPS on the team right now, though I was ace for almost all of this round, by the way. I just didn't hit tab very often here. We back up a little bit, I'm ace. Doesn't really matter. Ace never matters to me. All that matters is that we are winning. I have the least stats on our team because, again, my objective for this entire round was to sustain without much help. And that's what I did. I didn't have a lot of other good options. I needed to tank, DPS, peel. I needed to sustain on point without healing. Like, I had to do everything, right? The only person who can do everything is Mr. Fantastic. I had to be everything in this fight. It was the only thing I could think of that would work, right? So the enemy team is just rolling us, and yet they pushed slower than we pushed because of all of the stalling we were able to do, all of the opportunities we had to slow them down and waste their time, even though they are kicking our nuts. Okay, so that's that round. Let's look at what happens in the next round. Okay, so let me explain why we are doing a swap to Emma here, even though I've been playing Mr. Fantastic this entire game, and for good reason. I'm not a very experienced Emma player. However, I'm not dog water either, and I can generally flex onto things without, completely losing my mind. I've played enough games with her to know her kit and what all her buttons do. The key thing is that I've identified that their Hanzo is the big problem on the enemy team. So is their Black Panther. Those two things together are actually somewhat difficult for Mr. Fantastic to deal with. So we've needed a way to sustain without healing, especially on the defense before. But the point fight, I will remind you, did not go well last time on Mr. Fantastic. It was only the payload section that I was able to stall effectively. So my thinking is very simple. We need a large health pool to maybe allow our Cloak and Dagger and our Loki to have an opportunity to get an ult. A second large health pool can do that. Mr. Fantastic cannot. That's one of his weaknesses. So he's not really a tank for feeding support ults because he generates shields, which do not feed support ults and do not feed damage ults on the enemy team. Mr. Fantastic is also somewhat weak to Hanzo. It's not always the case that you lose every fight, but it's probably one of his weakest matchups. And I haven't been able to successfully counter dive or counter position that Black Panther much of this game. So Emma provides an anchor point for Cloak and Dagger to play around so that I can grab the Black Panther and hypothetically counter that and the Wolverine and anything else we're fighting. Additionally, with a shield on the field to help protect the thing and help protect us all from the Hanzo's endless arrows, we may be able to sustain against even that ranged firepower. So my thinking here is very simple. I'm going to play Emma because it does what I need and provides me with lots of opportunities. And if I explode and die because the healers couldn't do their jobs, then that will not be my fault, and at least I gave it a good go. So let's give it a try. I'm just doing a little aim practice on the fly because I've been playing Fantastic all around, and now I need an opportunity for that. So and the first thing we're trying to do is just build up our charge on our attacks and maintain our healing. I try to go for the grab, and I miss the grab because I'm not that good at Emma. But I do a lot of damage, and with my melee attacks, and I know how to melee at least, it's not that hard. So hey, we put some pressure on, and I'm putting pressure on their healers. I'm gonna use this shield here to block her healing. And then I'm gonna focus this Black Panther. I successfully get the Black Panther. I'm again going to do the same thing here. I'm not really seeing a lot of other threats on the field, so I'm just focusing on dealing damage to the thing, the cloak, and the rocket. We have driven the enemy off the point on overtime. They got one fight. So I got to show you this. I've mentioned it already more than once that our Iron Man was pretty verbose with his endless whining and complaining about how good he is. But I will remind you that once again, I am MVP, and I have not died 20 times this game, and I am a useful participant on the team. There was a lot of that going on, just for the record. It was a very tedious game. I have not played a game in like 2 days because this game was so annoying to me. And this guy tries to tank again. Now, I will remind you that he basically fed the entire time he was playing tank last time. So I'm going to just sort of stare him down on this one. And I'm going to play tank. He can keep playing Iron Man and saying that he's the best person ever. I would just like to continue to focus on the one thing that is the most important, the objective. Since it worked last time, I don't want to change it. and I will just try it again. Did we need a tank the entire, like, maybe we needed a tank for the entire game earlier. Maybe I should have just been on Emma, or maybe I should have been on Thing earlier. However, my feeling was that the team was too unreliable to trust, and I needed to provide objective value while also doing too many other things. Here, I'm taking a side angle. This is the better place to play. I would like to point this out. Against their comp, with the Hanzo that they've been running, who has been just destroying our team, walking it down main in the open against their Hanzo is the worst position we could be in. There's no cover here. Whereas walking it through here is way better for us. Yes, it is a tight choke point, and Hanzo can fire arrows for free, but they're going to have to shoot at us with various things, including... And they have a Crimson Witch now. It's much harder for them to kill us because we have walls to play around here. So this is the better position, right? Unfortunately, also I can provide a shield. So like huge value from that. I can just have a shield. I should have recalled that sooner. But hey, the team doesn't want to go that way, even though I'm pinging, even though I'm commsing, although half the people don't have mics and half the people are just typing angry stuff at each other. Like the better option here is for us to play together. And I know I'm using my shield a lot here, even though it doesn't have a lot of HP. My point is just to block Hanzo arrows, even if it's just a couple. And we are just losing, and we are dead. Now, unfortunately, I think what happened here is, once again, they don't even have a diver on the back line. Cloak and Dagger and Loki are being bullied to doom by their flanking Crimson Witch. Bucky's playing down mid. He's planning to die, I think. Kind of in a weird position here because we were losing, but our Iron Man, with all the healing he's receiving, the pock he's receiving, manages to pop their Hanzo, who is their most dangerous enemy. The revive beacon goes off, but he is getting pocketed, and she's already used her C, so she can't do that much damage anymore. Does fall out of the sky off of that, and I'm going to show you where I'm at right now. So we've got two healers helping an Iron Man. We have a Black Panther who's back with us, and we're teleporting in. I put that there preemptively, not knowing what's going to happen. I check our right flank just in case. Strange is on point. I'm going in to help him, but I'm a little late. However, it wasn't wise to be here so early because we didn't have heal support yet. Right, I pop my shift, I miss everything. Again, I'm not that used to it, but I do bully Crimson Witch off, and Crimson Witch is now being chased by an Iron Man who gets popped by their Hanzo. I'm forcing out their cloak to fade. I can't find her, by the way, but we do have our own ult on the table. I almost dodged that, but I do not dodge that, but I am in cloak ult. He gets killed by our Black Panther, and we win before the enemy is able to come back. There you have it. Now, was it the swap to the tank that worked for us, or was it just a couple of other factors, the enemy team mixing it up? You know, it's really hard to say. What I will say is if we go look at that scoreboard, you're going to see just such a miserable time. So, final thoughts. I think it's fair to say that a fair bit of that payload not moving was me on Fantastic, and it made a big difference in the amount of time the enemy team had for the second fight. Note, and I want to reiterate this, they got one fight because they had 1 minute, and we won the one fight that we had somehow, and when we won that fight, they timed out and it was over. We got 2 fights because we pushed a little faster. We focused on the payload, we focused on the objective, and even though they outkilled us the entire game, we won. The point I am trying to make is that objective wins games. Even when you have irritating, unreliable, many death teammates who are yelling at each other all game, being tremendously annoying, mute them, play smart, focus on the objective, and you will win. Or, at a minimum, you'll have a good shot at it, which is all I can say. The stalls that I pulled off numerous times on Fantastic, with help, of course, were stalls that bought us that extra 50-ish seconds that we used to get the second fight at the end of the game. They were stalls that we got that the enemy didn't get. And because of that, we won the game when we should have lost it if we were looking at the scoreboard. Everyone on the enemy team did better than us. Not one of us has the kind of performance that the enemy team does. The difference was objective. That's why we won. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Warm regards,
Reginald.
I would like to take a moment and provide an extra special thanks to Joseph Davison for upgrading to my Oathmaker level membership. You are the second person to do this, and you have no idea how much of an impact it makes on this channel. This channel has always been a passion project for me, so your support really just helps me feel like I can continue to work on this and I will continue to see success. Thank you so much. It's really appreciated. I would also like to provide a special thank you to Miles Williams Lewis for continuing to be an Adept level member of my channel after all of this time. Lastly, but very importantly to me, I'd like to provide a special thank you to all of the people who have provided memberships or gifted memberships to my channel, especially Vinny, who continues to be an ardent supporter of my channel with regular gifted memberships. Thank you all so much. It really is just so wonderful. It really helps me continue to pursue this passion of mine, and I appreciate it a lot, and I hope I continue to provide you with a lot of value over the coming years. Thanks so much for visiting, everyone. Bye-bye.